Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I'm Ryan Bowling. Thank you all for joining me. I had to do this video because this just blew my mind. I was watching Brandon T. Tatum, and I saw the actual video, and some of you probably already know about it. 17-year-old young teenager physically assaulted a teacher in school because she took his Nintendo game from him. And you have to see this video. If you didn't see this video, I beg you, you must see this video. This guy just comes out of nowhere and just slugs her and knocks her unconscious. Thank God she's not dead. Thank God she's not dead. But look, I'm going to read you guys a small portion of this article. It's a short article. I'll read you guys this article, and then I'm going to get right into my commentary because I believe I know what part of the issue is. And if we don't address this, we're going to keep having these kinds of issues. So let's get right down to this article. I'm going to read you guys this article because this is bad. This is really bad. It's really bad. And it says, a 17-year-old student who continued to viciously beat his high school teacher after he knocked her unconscious for taking his Nintendo Switch will be tried as an adult. It says Brenda Deepa, 17, will be tried as an adult for the brutal beating of Joanne Nadish, 57, at Palm Coast, Florida's high school. Says the vicious and deeply disturbing assault was captured on security camera footage, which shows a student pushing the teacher to the ground and knocking her unconscious before going on to punch and stomp on her as she lies motionless and defenseless. The mother of the two was struck with at least 15 times in the back of the head. It was terrible. It was terrible. This young man, the article goes to say, this young man faces a felony aggravated battery charge, and he has been arrested for battery on 3 separate occasions in 2019. So this young man was already had a history of violence against people. So the school knew about this, but yet they let this young man, they let him still operate. It's maddening, it's sickening. But it goes on to say, now Florida's 7th District Court has ruled that the 6 foot, now get this now, he's 6 feet 6, 270 pounds, but he will be held on $1 million bond and faces up to 30 years in prison. That is a tragedy. The article goes on to say this student is just 6 months shy of age 18, and it was also a brutal attack on his teacher. Fortunately, this didn't result in a fatality. Thank God for that. So that's all I'm going to read right there. That's all the article I'm going to read right there. But you guys need to just check that out for yourself. Yeah, you need to look at that yourself. Check that out for yourself. But I had to do that because I wanted to give my comments on that. Now, number one, I'm angry, but I'm not very angry to the point where I'm like, I don't like this young boy. I want the worst thing. No, that's not it. I'm angry at the schools the school that allowed this young man who has a history of violence to be even in the schools. But what I want to address is what I have said in a video some time ago. Well, actually, I had posted this comment in a video some time ago in reference to the lack of strong father figures in the home. Now, it took me really, to be honest with you, I always come from different angles. I always talk about the cause of this type of stuff and so forth, but really, when it all comes down to it, it doesn't matter if the radical left is trying to destroy the family. It doesn't matter about the New World Order. It doesn't matter about the elites' attempt to destroy the family. What matters is that families become conscious enough to know that they have to be an intricate part in their child's life. Now, I'm not excusing this young man. I'm not excusing him because basically his life is over. He's going to be doing up to 30 years in prison. His life is over, okay? And unfortunately, by the way, too, he was African American, but I'm going to elaborate on that a little bit later. His life is over, basically. What I wanted to deal with is the fact that as family, people who are fathers and mothers, I feel that the issue is a lack of strong fathers in the home. When you don't have that strong male role model in the home, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get this kind of behavior from these young men. You're going to get this kind of behavior from these young men. And to piggyback off of something that Brandon T. Tatum, my boy Brandon T. Tatum said, I mean, we don't know what kind of trauma this young man had before he, because he said he was in some kind of a foster home or some kind of a group home or something like that. So that shows he was in trouble. He was a troubled young man. That's not excusing his actions, because he's going to be tried as an adult. Because clearly he knew what he was doing when he did it. And I agree, he needs to be tried and he needs to suffer the consequences. But 9 times out of 10, this would not have happened had he had a strong male role model in the home, particularly his father. Now let me get back on this. Let me get on the situation that he was African American. He's black. Okay, the fact that he was black shows that if this had never been shown on camera, he would have got away. Would have got a slap on the wrist and they would have let him go, or it wouldn't have been no real penalty. He'd have been back in school. Because what the left tends to do is they tend to say all the time is that the reason why people, particularly in poverty, do bad things and commit crimes is because they're in poverty. Never mind personal responsibility, never mind taking responsibility for your own actions. It's always something in the external that causes them to act the way they act. And as a result, these people continue to do what they do. Because once you reach the age of accountability, you got to be able to say to yourself, wait a minute, hold it. I know that what I'm doing is consciously wrong. This young man knew what he was doing was wrong. I know he knew that. Regardless of what trauma he may have had in his past. And regardless of the fact that he's a teenager, he still is at an age that he knows right from wrong. And when we live in a society where the radical left encourages, in an indirect way, this kind of behavior, we want to get this kind of behavior. Then you add that to the fact that there's no father in this young man's life, and there's no father in a lot of these young men's life. What usually happens, the statistics tell us, what usually happens, they end up on the street, in gangs, selling drugs. That's what usually happens. And I believe that the solution is not just bringing God back into the schools and so forth, because chances are that's not going to happen unless God himself just intervenes. I think the solution is on a surface level. On a surface level is families have to be families. Fathers have to start stepping up and being fathers. Excuse me. They have to start stepping up and being fathers. Because if not, we're going to have this destruction. We're going to continue to have this destruction. Now let me say something about the cause of this. I got to bring that out because you guys know I always like to look at what causes this. Because at one point, many, many decades ago, when I say many decades ago, I mean from the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, up to the 50s rather, the nuclear family within the black community in particular, and I'm saying black community because this young man was black, okay, was pretty well intact. Okay, you still had your father, you still had your single family homes, but it was nothing like it is now. Okay, but after the welfare state came in during the late 60s and early 70s, when that welfare state came in by Lyndon Johnson, okay, by Lyndon Johnson, the whole, what was the name of it? I was sharing this with my mom. When he initiated the program called the Great Society in order to fight poverty, okay, the idea was a father could not be in the home. They would literally send representatives from the government to search your home to see if anyone was in your home, to see if any man was in the home. If there was a man in the home, the woman couldn't get the benefits. So what that did was it encouraged young ladies to have babies out of wedlock so they can get the benefits. Well, what happens in turn? What happens? What tends to happen? The young men are born into these families without a strong, stable father. They end up getting in gangs, they end up getting out on the street, and you have this kind of stuff. They don't have a strong father figure to teach them morals and values, to tell them how to maintain self-control, to tell them how to be focused, to tell them how to be responsible men in a society. They don't have a strong male figure to tell them to take personal responsibility for their actions. This is one of the things I used to always tell my son. Son, take personal responsibility for what you do. Don't cry about it. Pick yourself up and say, okay, what do I need to do to better this situation? But they don't have that because we have allowed these politicians and the school system to pump our heads full of this idea that we victims of an oppressed society. We are not victims. Stop letting these people tell you that. I could go on and on and on about this, but this is crazy. This is crazy, crazy, crazy. And I saw, like I said, man, I saw that video. It really disturbed me. It really disturbed me. That woman just went down flat. He could have killed her. That's why the charges are so high, because he could have killed her. He could have killed that lady. So let's pray. Well, actually, the article goes on to say that she did, let me reiterate that. The article does go on to say that she did survive, and she's going to make it, and she's recovering. But who's to know if she's going to, want to go back to school and teach again? This woman's going to probably be traumatized for the rest of her life because of this kind of madness. This kind of madness. So I just wanted to say that. I just want to put that in there, put my thoughts on that. I had to do this video. I know I don't have all of my equipment, as you can tell, but sometimes I just gotta say something. I just can't stay silent all the time. I gotta say something. I got to put something out there, because I can go on and on and on about this, and I can go on and on and on about the counterculture revolution and how it divided the families and destroyed our country, but that's for another video. What do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all, and see you again.